episode of Over the Cup podcast, a Formula One podcast for fans old and new, by Formula One fans old and new. Today, we are talking about Australia, mate! Australian GP race review. And joining me, as always, Honey Badger and Chapuni, my two trusted friends with whom I talk Formula One 24/7. Hey guys, what's up?
Hello.
Hello.
First reactions.
So,
First, like
first thoughts.
first thoughts about the race. Like,
Oh, enjoyed it thoroughly.
Crazy.
So much drama, so much racing. Apart from the podium, Charles, he did not have much to do. But apart from that, everyone else was fighting for their places. So happy with the race.
Yep.
cool. Let's talk about all the ways I hate FIA. Some pretty bonkers rules this weekend. Jewelry, underwears, safety car
Yeah,
restart.
FIA is more interested in all the
What
things not related
yeah.
to race.
Exactly. FI is more interested in what the guys are wearing than what the guys are doing on the track. So
Not wearing jewelry makes sense in a contact sport. The jewelry and the underwear rules are from a safety point of view. You sitting in your car with jewelry, a safety hazard. I don't understand that.
Especially if you have a nose piercing. How does it even qualify as a hazard?
Yeah, I mean, it's like nose piercing. That's the safest one because it's covered with the helmet, and then there is a halo above it. So
Yeah.
I don't
even
get
the
it.
earrings, for that matter.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Hamilton has both of them, right? He has a
Yeah.
he
And
has a
also
earring.
he has piercing somewhere he does not want to disclose. So
I
Okay.
mean, I assumed that it was a joke. If not, I am curious. Like, I
How,
want to know.
how does Lewis know?
No, it's his piercings. He would know, but like,
No, I was talking about Max.
Max, yeah. I mean, given what happened last year, are we still surprised? But no, anyways, yeah.
Okay.
I did not just make that joke, but anyways, my point is that the jewelry rule does not make sense. The underwear rule, I mean, I don't understand why underwear material is being talked about when there were so many instances over this weekend, over the last weekend, like the last race weekend that we had, which where like sure a lot of them were noted, a bunch of them were not, but like there was no proper reason given for whatever decision the FIA reached for.
Also, on a funny note, if FIA cares about the material of the underwear, they could just ban wearing underwear during the race.
Oh, you mean drivers going commando? Oh fuck, no. No, then Christian Horner is going to be like, the girls are going to be watching Formula One for very different reasons. He already thinks we watch it because the drivers are hot.
Okay,
As the only girl on this podcast, you know which Formula One drivers I find hot.
okay, please go ahead.
Nico Hulkenberg, Nico Rosberg, and Jensen Button. None of them are racing right now.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But I
So you
still
have a
watch
thing
Formula
for
One.
retired drivers.
exactly.
I don't know. I mean, you can, with the exception of Nico Hulkenberg, I think you can say I have a thing for ex Lewis Hamilton teammates, except Alonso also. Like I don't even find Valtteri Bottas hot.
Okay, what
Can
about
be
Carlos?
very Carlos. I have a lot of respect for him.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So there are, I don't want drivers to go commando because
The guys already wear a fireproof suit, right?
exactly.
So
Yeah,
does adding one more layer?
I don't think underwear regulations need changing. I think that this entire business of investigating drivers for not slowing down under yellow flags and then saying after an hour that oh no investigation necessary, this seems fishy to me. It
hmm.
cannot happen. It happened in Jeddah in the last two laps when Kevin Magnussen, Carlos Sainz, and Charles Leclerc, they all three of them were under investigation in the last two laps for not slowing down, and then the same thing happened this weekend. I find it hard to believe. Like so even in Saudi, Charles set the fastest lap for the race. So Perez also set a, a a lap time which was a huge improvement on what his previous lap time was. And um I really think that after what has transpired last year, the FIA is just scared of taking decisions. What do you guys think?
Hmm.
Nobody
I don't
from the
think
top
it's
two teams has. There has been, like, so sure, there have been investigations, but no action has been taken against any of the top four drivers.
Wow. Interesting observation. I didn't give a thought to it,
yeah,
Yes.
but
me
this is
too.
deep.
So Bahrain qualifying, Perez lap time in Q1 should have been deleted because he exceeded track limits. You know what? I went back to watch the qualifying highlights for Bahrain. They haven't shown it, so I'm trying to figure out how I can watch the entire
No,
qualifying.
but he did exceed race
He
limits.
did
That was
exceed. I wanted to be like a little more sure, but
Okay.
no, I am sure because it was shown multiple times during the qualifying. Because even Crofty was saying why, like when because Yuki, I think a couple of
Zo
minutes after him, Yuki was
Zo
the one.
Zo Zo Zo's
No,
lap time was limited.
so
Was
Zoe's lap time was removed, but Perez's was not removed. So Crofty wanted to recheck, and then they showed it a couple of times.
So
Hmm.
that happened in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. Max kept saying that Charles was crossing the pit entry lane, the white line that is there. Then Charles, Carlos, and K-Mag were under investigation, like the last two laps, for not slowing down under the yellow flags. They were under investigation, during those two laps, Charles Leclerc set the fastest lap for the race. That is 1 point in the championship. And then again, this time there was no action taken against Perez for same infringement, like the same incident, not slowing under yellow flags. Also, Charles Leclerc was also investigated for not
Slowing down unnecessarily.
slowing down unnecessarily on a in lap or something like that.
Hmm.
So
Okay. Was it the same lap? There are two more drivers along with Charles who have been investigated for the same thing, right?
as yeah, but as far as I know, there have been no action taken against anybody except Yuki.
Okay.
Yuki has been given an reprimand.
Hmm. Okay. Reprimanding is fine, but penalty, nobody has been given a penalty,
No,
right?
nobody has been given a penalty.
Then that's
So
fine.
maybe
No.
they have given gotten a little bit softer on that rule now.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's more worrisome if Charles doesn't get a penalty and other drivers get it.
Yes, exactly.
No, but
Then it's fine.
see, the thing is that reprimands also count. So after a set number of reprimands that you get, that is going to result in a penalty. And I think Yuki, in the course of the season, this is, I think, his third reprimand for some or the other reason, while Charles hasn't had any.
Okay, got it,
Okay,
Maybe
got it.
so
like rules broken or issues in the race, so like kind of like a warning system of sorts.
see my I mean, and like this is like just my thinking with everything, with the way the last season happened, all the controversy, this, that, everything that happened. I think the FIA is scared of giving too bold decisions when it comes to like penalties or like punishing drivers for their behaviors that should be punished, right?
Yeah, yeah. This makes sense because we have been discussing all the qualifying FIA fuck ups with the Perez going exceeding the track limits and Charles not being penalized for touching the pit entry in Jeddah, even though
Yeah.
Max complained it like many times. So now I'm absolutely fascinated by your observation. You connected all the dots actually.
The top four have
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
been punished for
Exactly, exactly.
anything. For
It's making
anything.
it's making more sense now. Yeah, yeah,
And just the thing is that it's not like their incidences have not been noted. Like even okay, the qualifying incidents where Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, that very near miss right after turn six. Okay, when Daniel Ricciardo impeded Ocon in Saudi Arabia, the explanation given by the stewards was that despite the fact that Ocon was able to complete his lap, the fact that he was able to do that, the fact that he was able to complete his lap is inconsequential to what happened. Like that was impeding. And from what I've seen of that replay, Max Verstappen was not impeding on purpose. Neither was Daniel Ricciardo, by the way. Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen, both of them in separate weekends, they both of them did not know that there was another driver that was
mm,
approaching them on a hot lap. It's the same thing. And had Lewis Hamilton not been able to veer off the the line where Max Verstappen was, could have been a very nasty accident, right? And my point is that even you note the incident, I'm not saying that Max Verstappen should have been given a penalty or a reprimand or something. The thing is that when such near misses happen, they are also potential lessons. Maybe there can be a different sort of like you can study that incidents and there can be uh, an improved conversation that can happen around these things when there is a driver briefing that goes on, that happens before the race weekend starts, right? You don't necessarily have to wait for a crazy nasty crash to happen before you make any changes into any rule that could make the race safer. It was
mm.
a near miss. It was an unfortunate near miss. I am in no way blaming Max. The steward should have at least noted it. A similar incident happened in Saudi with Ricardo, where the team did not inform him. Similar incident happened in Australia, where Max's team did not inform him. Maybe give a better briefing to the team, to the race engineers. Tell them that if you do that, this is going to cost you a fine, and this fine is going to get included in your budget cap.
Mm.
The decision that was given against Ricardo. So Ricardo was given a three place grid penalty, and one penalty point was added to his super license, versus this almost near miss or this apparent incident not even being noted. You know why? Because there was Max Verstappen. He's one of the top four
Top
on the
four.
grid
Yeah,
in the moment, and this is the third race. It's not even like this is super well. It's not even like we are well into the season that
yeah. Mm.
the championship is at stake. This is the third race of the season. So
Wow. Yeah, makes lot of sense. So the bottom line is FIA is fucking up again.
I am I am scared that the FIA is not confident. They're still not confident enough to make calls that they need to be making to ensure proper governance of the race. This needs to be sorted out. We don't need controversy to be brewed in the way it was brewed last year.
Agreed.
Anyways,
Yeah, yeah,
but one of the more important rule changes that the FIA said um, and specified were the safety car restart changes,
yeah. Okay.
where Max Verstappen shenanigans on a
Max
safety
Verstappen.
car restart are no longer valid.
Poor guy.
Uh,
Poor
we
guy.
should post that meme on our socials actually.
So, I mean, so basically, for anybody who does not know, um, the rule, the way the FIA has specified it is that so the race leader and the car in second place, or any car that are like right next to each other, uh, you can't overtake them. Like the car that is behind has to be behind the car in front of them. There is no way that you can cross their rear wing, or like just the car length or whatever, which is what we saw, or rather we have been seeing at safety car restarts. And what do you guys think about that?
So I think for me, it's a fair, decision. Also, I mean, no, actually, in a way, it's a kinda like a only against Max decision, because Max is the only driver who was doing the opposite of this rule, right? So all the other drivers were keeping the distances. It was only Max who was doing this. So I mean, I don't know.
Okay, so now that you've said that, I want to ask this. Was Max Verstappen able to do it because before this, the rule had a lot of loopholes that could be exploited, or that it wasn't enforced very closely? Because up until last year, we had Michael Massey.
I don't think Masi had anything to do with it. The thing is that the rule is that the driver, like the rule never stated that how close the drivers have to be, but now they have. They cannot cross the driver's wings, right? So I think it was because of that.
Okay. Honey Badger, what do you think?
Same, same as what Shakuni said. I agree.
Succinct and to the point. I feel that I've talked too much in this podcast and I will not be talking anymore.
See, I don't have anything to say actually. So you have been covering up all the points. So it's better that way.
Mm, I know, but like, I'm either going to come across as an FIA hater or a Lance Stroll hater, which I am,
Okay.
but I think it's too early into the podcast to be labeled something. Anyways, moving on. Sebastian Vettel's crash in FP3.
It was FP2.
FP3.
I lost the plot on Aston Martin this weekend. I don't know how many times they've crashed. They have had problems. They start the free practice, or did they start qualifying? No, I lost the plot completely on them.
Yeah, there was way too much of Aston Martin drivers on a scooter content this weekend.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Their
They've
mechanics were
spent more laps behind, like on the scooter than anywhere else.
anyway, exactly.
um,
Those mechanics, poor mechanics, were busy all the weekend.
yeah, but like I'm still surprised that they were able to get
Put the cars
Vettel
together.
out
Yeah, yeah.
in qualifying.
I mean, that red flag helped them a lot. So
Sure, but like, what was the duration of that red flag? That red flag was not
Okay.
that long.
You want a conspiracy theory? I'll give you one. Do you think Stroll did it on purpose so that Seb could get into qualifying? Because Stroll, like, after, because of that Stroll incident, Seb was able to get out.
No, we are in a year of budget cap.
hmm.
Yeah, but so was Crashgate, if you remember.
No, I understand that, but like Crashgate was also something that was very controversial, and I don't, I don't think like Aston Martin are not in a position to be doing anything deliberately. Like the only thing they want to do deliberately is to score points.
Or finish a race.
Or finish
Exactly,
a race. So if
exactly.
this happened in the race, I would have believed your conspiracy theory,
Yeah,
Shakuni. But for qualifying,
Crashgate,
I don't think so.
Crashgate happened in race.
In the
Race
race. Yeah,
during
yeah.
race.
See, because the thing is that I still don't understand why Stroll made that move. I am genuinely not
Guys,
sure.
Okay,
okay.
we'll
I
come
have
to
a
qualifying, but like
uh,
just before we move to qualifying, I just want to say Mick Schumacher slowing down, stopping to check on Sebastian Vettel was the best moment of that free practice. The love between both of them, and just like Like just knowing the fact that Michael Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel raced at, there was a time when they both were on the grid. Michael Schumacher racing for Mercedes and Sebastian Vettel for Red Bull, and now it's his son on the grid, and just the love between them is so cute, so cute. It's like, oh, Mick, you're so pure and so sweet, and there is going to be no Mick bashing on this. Don't, not this episode, okay, please. We'll continue it on the later ones.
I
Uh,
want to rant about him today, but okay, we can do that
Yeah,
later.
we can
The
do
later
that.
episode.
Like you do it on every other episode that we record. But like, oh,
Okay, okay,
this
okay,
one is so cute. He's so cute. Anyways,
okay.
let's come to qualifying, and the biggest thing that happened in qualifying was, of course, the clash of the Canadians.
Bumper cars Canadian version.
Yes.
okay, now, like, can anyone explain why did Stroll do that? Like, what was the point of that
Okay,
move? I
uh,
don't understand.
okay. Before that, I want to ask someone, either of you answer this question. Why Latifi let Stroll pass, and why did he decide to
So,
get
uh,
past Stroll again?
yeah, so Stroll was on a hot lap, but then after passing Latifi, he slowed down for some reason because he
No,
thought
no,
that.
no, 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 no.
Stroll wasn't on a hot lap.
Stroll was on out lap. Latifi was on a hot lap.
Okay,
So, okay, the way I understood it was that Stroll was on his out lap, Latifi was on a hot lap. But for some reason, Stroll overtook Latifi, and then I think that was just on the exit of turn 5, right? That it just happened. It happened on that second DRS after the pit straight, the second DRS, right? The shorter one. So I think that Stroll decided to turn on that right hander a little early, and that resulted in the crash. There are only three possibilities in my head. So one, he tried to turn on that right hander too early. Two, there was some problem with him being able to steer his car, and that's why he swerved towards the right. Or three, he's just plain stupid. Those are the only three possibilities in my head.
So, if any of you heard the post qualifying, like this post crash interviews with Latifi and Stroll, so Stroll said that because it's a very sharp turn towards the right, like after the left, so that's why he was trying to go from the outside and get to the left so that he can get a better turn towards the right. And I'm like, to pagal hai.
Dude,
Why?
I've played like so Australia track is the one that I've driven the most on F1 game. That is not the racing line. You don't take that right hander that early, especially when you know that there are other people who are on their hot laps. Like in the race, I can still understand. You can go for that right hander if you're trying to defend your position, but not during qualifying. Especially when you're not on your hot lap. Like he was on his out lap. I would blame Stroll more for that accident than Latifi.
Yeah, it was Stroll's fault. It was 100% Stroll's fault.
okay. It was Stroll's fault, I agree, but why did Latifi let him pass? Is all my question is.
No, actually, the thing is that one of the two. Now, I don't know who was, but one of the two was on a hot lap and they did not do the hot lap. And then they decided that there's still some space, so let's go on.
Latifi was on a hot lap. He
Then
had
I think
done
this
his
was,
out lap and he was.
No, Latifi wasn't on a hot lap. He
yeah,
slowed down.
Latifi was,
He
yeah,
sl-
Latifi was not on a hot lap. Latifi was, I think, on a preparation lap, I think.
Stroll did not
no,
set a time for qualifying. Like
okay, that
that.
doesn't mean he's on a hot lap.
Yeah, that was his out lap, not hot lap.
Okay, my point is, why did Latifi let Stroll pass and suddenly accelerated again?
I think Latifi was doing his thing. Stroll decided to overtake him for whatever reason. I think he wanted to take that right hander before Latifi for some reason, despite not being on a hot lap. And just, I don't understand why he swerved towards, because he could.
see how I'm seeing this incident is when you are letting a driver to pass by and there is no radio communication from your engineer that the fast cars are approaching, you will be like, okay, let me drive slow, let me weave the car around, get the temps up, and all those things, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't weaving. That
He
wasn't a
wasn't
weaving thing.
okay. He wasn't on the racing lane also, right?
Who, Stroll?
Stroll,
No,
Yeah, Stroll
Stroll
was not
wasn't.
in the racing line.
He wasn't on the
right?
racing
Right?
line.
He
Yeah.
was he was going in his own way. And why did Latifi suddenly accelerate as if he has to rush to something?
No, so the thing is, that's what I'm saying. Stroll was not on the racing line, but then he just suddenly came in the racing line.
Yeah.
So from the outside, like from close to the curbs, he just went to the right for some reason, and then he just crashed into Albon.
Latifi.
Latifi.
So the thing is that, okay, I think that Stroll deliberately passed Latifi. I don't think Latifi let him.
No.
I
Latifi
am
let him.
Latifi let him.
He
pretty.
Latifi let
completely
him.
slowed down. He completely slowed down. He gave the way also to Stroll. You can watch the replays. He completely slowed down to the left. He almost stopped to the left and he let Stroll pass by and then suddenly he accelerated. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, you can blame Stroll as much as you want, but in this incident, I want to give it a 50-50 to Latifi also.
I just think
I'm
that both of them don't need to be on the grid. Like they're not doing anybody any good.
That's for
Like
sure. That's for sure. But I want to give Stroll a benefit of doubt. So when you're
I'm not saying that Latifi is not at fault at all.
mm,
Both
But
of them
I
are at
would
fault.
say that between the two of them, I would put more blame on Stroll.
okay, but I would give it a 50-50. I think
See,
Stroll shouldn't
I
have been.
No, so I am giving Stroll a bigger, considering him a bigger culprit for the crashes because there was a lot of space on the left. There was no need for him to go towards the right. Like, I understand that it's a narrow turn,
See,
but there's still space. Like, he could have turned, like, there was no need to go towards the right. Both the
Hmm.
cars could have passed very easily. There was no need for, that turn towards the right. For
Ah,
me, the only blame is because there. Why did you go towards the right? You had the
ah,
turn.
exact. Yeah,
You
yeah,
had
yeah.
the
agreed,
right.
agreed, agreed. So okay, I would like to conclude this by saying that Latifi shouldn't have accelerated. That's on him, and
Yeah,
Stroll
Yeah,
shouldn't
yeah,
have
Latifi
yeah.
should
turned
not have.
right.
Latifi should not
Let
have
me complete. Let
accelerated,
me
and
complete.
this moron should not have gone to the right.
Right. So that's why I'm giving them 50-50. It's not completely one person's fault there. That's my thing. Everyone is bashing Stroll for this. I don't understand.
Stroll got a three-place grid penalty and has had 2 penalty points added on his super license, which now brings his total to 7. A race ban happens after 12 points, and the way these penalty points work is they are going to stay on your license for a year from the date that they've been given, right? So, like, these 2 points will go off his license next year in April.
Mm,
So, anyways, Alex Albon disqualified from qualifying due to not being able to provide a fuel sample.
Yeah.
yeah.
These are the only
There's
penalties we see given out, and unless they are like in your face deliberate crashes, otherwise nothing else is being given out. But like,
so when that Stroll incident happened, no, I saw it on the when the replay, not replays exactly. So when they were showing it, it was like Stroll completely blocked Latifi off deliberately. It looked like that.
Exactly.
yeah, you need to see it from all the angles. You need to see the
Angles.
speed data, and like there are a lot of things to consider. And I like
I
I
was like, yeah, well, why are you on the grid still, man?
yeah, yeah.
Before watching replays, I was like, no. You shouldn't do like that. Shouldn't do like that. This is
I,
bad racing.
I really think this is the last year of Latifi on F1 grid unless Williams decide to do a Red Bull and replace him mid-season.
They won't do that.
Yeah,
They
I
won't.
know.
Williams doesn't do that.
I know. Nobody but Red Bull does that. Anyways.
Mm.
Um. Anyways.
But
So.
talk about that Alonso lap
Oh,
before going
that
to the race.
Alonso lap. Alonso. I. There are no
Heartbreaking.
words. There are no
Yeah,
words. Um.
it was so close to pole.
I think no. I think Science was a pole. Science was quicker than Alonso.
Yeah.
Any which way, Alonso would have ended up in
Yeah,
top five
Alonso
for
would have
sure
been
with that lap.
second or third. Alonso for sure would have been second or third.
Yeah, at least he would have been on second row for sure.
Mhm. True.
Nasty.
Yeah,
What was the issue? Hydraulics problem in the gearbox,
hydraulics.
right?
Hydraulics.
Hydraulics. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Turn 11, right?
Turn
That's the
12.
turn where
Turn
everyone
12.
faced a lot of understeer.
That was 12. 12 or 12. 12. Turn 12.
Well,
The bigger gravel trap. Like just
hmm.
after the DRS. He
Yeah,
crashed
yeah.
after the DRS. Okay. Speaking about the race, I think that okay. First of all, I don't know why FIA removed that fourth DRS zone. They said it was a safety thing, but there are far too many other corners on that track that were a safety issue in this particular lap. There was turn 11, there was turn 12, where we saw Alonso crash in qualifying, and yeah, and but like after turn 7, the DRS where that the longer DRS which they made into like it's a curved straight, but not too curved. It's like there's like a slight curve, and then they had removed the previous turn 8-9 chicane to make it like
Hmm.
more straighter. But
Yeah.
they removed one of the DRSs from that part of the track, stating that it was a safety concern. I don't agree with that. I think that race would have been much more interesting, because that longer DRS, those two consecutive DRS zones, would have resulted in much more overtaking opportunities and um, much more closer racing than what we saw.
Okay. So why it's a safety concern is I understand. The DRS ends before turn 11, right?
Yeah,
Turn 11 or turn 10,
yeah,
which is
sure.
the
Yeah,
huge S curve or
the
something,
S curve. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's a fast speed corner.
Okay.
Normally with DRS zones, where do you place the DRS zones is at the end of the DRS zones, you'll have some at least some tight corners, right?
Yeah.
So they might have sensed it in this way, like they might have thought that it would be too dangerous for them to give the DRS and have a high speed corner at the end. Maybe.
No, I agree. I agree. See, my problem is not FIA making any decisions that they make with a safety point of view. But the thing is
Hmm.
that this decision was given in FP3. So FP3, when it started, when FP3 session started, we got to know that the fourth DRS will not be in place. There will only be three DRS zones. My point is that in FP1 and FP2, there was nothing major that happened to say that it was a warranted reaction. At first I thought that it was only valid for FP3 because the track was a little wet because it had rained overnight.
Hmm.
That makes sense. But for them to say that it will not be a DRS zone for any subsequent sessions does not make sense for me. Like, if you're making a claim like that, give some evidence to prove it. Like hypotheticals I can understand, but there were two sessions 1 hour long that happened, where there was no issue. There were more problems in turn 12,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
So the problems with the cars, with their drivability and their understeering, oversteering, whatever it is, it was more after turn 12. We saw Alonso crash there. We saw a lot of cars lose time there,
Hmm.
right?
Exactly.
And the DRS after that S has always been in place. Like that was not a new DRS zone that was added.
So the DRS zone which they have removed recent, I mean they have added and removed recently actually.
Yeah.
That's the only new DRS which has been added to the Australian GP, and they have not used that in the race.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you removed a perfectly good chicane to make it into a DRS, and then you decide not to have that DRS altogether. It does not make sense to me.
Hmm. Okay.
Because that is another, that it was a good chicane, and like them removing that chicane to make it a longer DRS zone, it made sense to me, because I'm like, it's closer, it's easier to follow cars, and because it's going to be such a long DRS, like the distance of that DRS is going to be so long, so it's going to provide us more closer racing. But we could not see that because they negated it. They were like, okay, this is now this is now just something that is like a longer road, like a slightly curved long road, but there is not going to be any DRS. I still, I think I need a proper explanation as to why it was removed. I don't think that Carlos Sainz unfortunately had a very poor start. Mm, he's just had a shitty weekend
Weakness.
altogether. All Spanish drivers had a shitty weekend altogether.
I was listening to the post-race interview of Carlos Sainz, and he was saying that he had in the qualifying also he had some steering wheel problems. Apparently, there were some buttons they weren't working on his steering wheel, and they had to change the steering wheel before the race. And I don't know, he started on anti-stall or something, and he had a poor start, and he had to manage with the damaged steering wheel apparently. So he was pushing for to cover up the to cover up all the lost positions, and kind of made a mistake. He was explaining all these things in the post race
Hmm.
interview.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but again, like I'm just happy that my thing about pace versus reliability has come true in this race
Hmm.
also. So I'm very happy.
It won't be much time until Mercedes catches up Red Bull in the
Yeah, I mean, even currently they are second in the constructors,
currently,
right?
yeah, currently they are second, but even though they're lacking uh, pace compared to Red Bull at the moment, but I think they'll be finishing ahead of Red Bull at the end of the season if Red Bull faces these reliability issues frequently.
Yeah, yeah. I think that so if you look at Mercedes' performance this weekend, even in
Amazing.
yeah, amazing. But like even in qualifying, if you look at qualifying, the only fastest sectors that either Hamilton or Russell were able to set were sector one or two.
Hmm.
The third
Yeah.
sector, which was the longest sector and which had more number of corners, mm, the Mercedes seem to be losing a lot of time. And I think it's more to do with the fact that they are increasing their ride height to find a solution to the porpoising problem that they are having. And in that, and by doing that, they are also sacrificing some of their downforce, and that's why they're not they're not too good on tracks that are like very curvy corner, where it's not just pace, like with up until sector 2 there are not a lot of like slow speed corners. There's only that turn 4 5 um in sector 1 and 2, which is like one of the slowest corners. Otherwise everything else is pretty decent.
Hmm.
So let's hope that in Imola Mercedes is able to bring the upgrades that they promised, but I guess we'll find out in another 2 weeks. Mm,
Yep.
yeah, so very early on we got a red flag, we got a yellow flag because of Carlos Sainz losing it. And Lance Stroll made a bold move of doing two pit stops under that safety car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh, I don't understand that call.
So at first I thought that because there were like even Alonso was facing issues with the hard tire and Stroll was also on a hard tire. So I thought that because they were facing issues, they wanted to make it shift him to medium. But then the second pit stop they did was also for medium tires. So I don't know what happened there because he had two pit stops, both for medium tires.
So what I heard the commentators say was that he pitted first to put on a different compound tires. He completed one lap, whatever, like he pitted, then the out lap he ran on mediums, and then he pitted again to put on the hards. So technically, he ran the race with two different compounds, which is the rule.
Got it. Understood.
So, I mean, in the third or fourth lap, you were expecting Lance Stroll to last those hard tires. Given that it's hard tires, like you expect those hard tires to last the entire race. That does not make sense. Like,
Yeah, I mean, Albon had those hard tires. Like, if not for that rule of changing the tires, dude would have been seventh.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also disqualified.
Also disqualified. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if not for that rule, he would have been
He would
seventh.
have
But
ended seventh. Yeah.
yeah, but even with the rule, he ended 10th. I mean, that's still something.
Mm.
Let's talk about some good performances. Who had a good performance? Let's talk about the
Norris.
bad. Let's talk about the bad ones. We've talked about Alonso. We've talked about Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel does not deserve to have a weekend like this. I don't know what to say. It's hard to see him like this.
I just want him to retire.
Yeah. At this
I
point,
can't
if
see.
this is how it will be going on, then I also want him to retire because
I can't see him like this. I just it's okay if he retires at this point of time.
like it just ruined my day when I saw him. Like it was so wrong. At first, I
And
thought it was Stroll, but then I saw the helmet and I was like, no, God, why?
mm, yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
hard
it's
to say,
just
but yeah,
yeah.
I don't feel bad if he retires right now. And this is coming from a Vettel fan
Hardcore
who has
Vettel.
been
Everybody is a Red Bull.
exactly
Everybody is a Vettel fan.
no, not a Vettel fan from Red Bull Vettel fan.
Yeah, 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 I'm saying this. Everybody is a Red Bull fan. Oh my god!
Vettel.
Everybody is a Vettel fan.
Mm,
Secretly, everybody is a Vettel fan. You can't help but love the guy.
yep.
Okay, so we've talked about Alonso. We've talked about Sebastian Vettel. Let's talk about.
McLaren
Science.
I mean,
Like,
outside
science
no, I
also.
think
Like
he was
it's
talking about the
unfortunate.
bad performances. Nah? So science.
bad
Yeah,
That.
performance.
science. Let's talk about Max Verstappen, Red Bull power
Oh
unit.
yeah.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. So about Max. So I was watching. I was listening to his post race. Uh, what do we
Post
say?
DNF, post DNF interview.
Not post DNF. Post race. This media thing.
Hmm.
His interview, and he seems like not at all quite disappointed. He told that I don't mind about the DNF because the race was going pretty terribly, and I saw it as a easy P2. But at the end, these things happen, and I'm not quite disappointed with this weekend. You're saying like this.
Oh,
Wait, is Max kidnapped?
someone is coaching Max to give good statements.
All right.
Okay, let's talk about the thing that I'm most excited about, which is McLaren double point finish.
Yes. I am
I
I'm
happy.
leave the
happy.
mic. I leave the mic and stage to you.
Danny Rick on his home race, having a decent performance, despite, I mean, I'm sure he would have at least loved to have a podium finish in his home race after 3 years. But given where they were in Bahrain, I think this is the best result that he could have hoped for in in this 2022 season. This is his first point finish of the season, and it has happened in his home race. And I'm so happy for him. So fucking happy. Daniel Ricciardo deserves the world. I love him.
We
Thank
all
you for
do.
coming to my TED talk.
Customers are improving. Like for example, even the like we saw some pace today from Williams. Even like Stroll was able to extract some pace, but he's a moron. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
so I think Mercedes customers are getting there. Like they are slowly and steadily getting back to the the good old days. It
Yeah,
will be,
and
it will take some time, but yeah.
yeah, and I mean, like if you think of it, like it's taken them like three. This is the third race this is the third race of the season where we see Williams and Aston Martin and McLaren doing much better than where they started, and the drivers being more comfortable with their cars. And I think that
Yeah.
this being Sebastian Vettel's first race, I think by the time Miami comes,
No,
Vettel
but
would
I
be.
think Vettel's was not an engine issue. It was more of a car issue. Like the
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like he's not comfortable with the car yet. Like
yeah,
the
I
So
way.
think
he himself he told that he made a mistake, not the car. Oh, I
oh,
have two funny observations about Max.
Okay.
okay.
Max is currently sixth in the WDC World Drivers Championship, and Russell is second.
Yeah, I saw that today and I was like, okay, someone is going to get beaten up at the Red Bull.
And there is this funny thing going on in Twitter. Uh, Max won every race he finished in 2022.
Yeah. I mean, that's only one race, Saudi.
That's only one race. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Okay. Are we not talking about Schumacher and Sonoda incident?
oh yeah, let's cover that also. So, does anybody remember from the fucking replays? Because
Yeah. I remember.
go for it.
So this was a safety car for which incident? I don't remember, but it was on lap 26 or 27.
Mm.
There was a safety car out on the track, and for some reason, Tsunoda was ahead of Mick Schumacher, and they were at the start finish that pit straight,
Yeah.
and suddenly Mick Schumacher accelerates, and while Tsunoda was weaving in front of him, there was a gap. There was a little like 3 or 4 car lengths gap between them, and suddenly he starts accelerating, and he misses by an inch.
Mm.
He would have gone crashed into the back of Sonoda if not for that reflex turn. I don't know what he was thinking, because I was clearly seeing from on the left side there was signal safety car, and
Yeah,
it's still not, the track is still not green. Even though if you think so, what my understanding is, even though if the leader decides to start the race after the grid start finish line,
Mm.
there should be a green flag on the track, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
You
This
can't.
was not, no,
The
this
leader
was in the middle. Like this was not even like safety car is ending situation. This was right
exactly,
in the
safety.
middle of the safety car, and for some reason Schumacher just decided that
I'll
uh,
go racing.
yeah, I'll race.
I'll go racing. Come on. That was so close. That was so
It
close.
was very close. He would
And
have
it was,
ended Tsunoda right there and then if there would have been contact.
and was it noted? Was it being investigated?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like they have called the drivers.
You know why? Because they're
Hmm.
not in top four.
Okay. Yeah.
um. Okay.
I am completely disappointed with Mick this race for this race. He made too many mistakes
Yeah, agreed,
in
agreed.
quali and race also. Yeah.
But he
Okay.
beat. But he
No
beat
bashing.
Magnussen. He
Okay. No
beat.
bashing. No Mick bashing this episode.
He he beat Magnussen.
All right.
Okay. So okay. It reminds me of one thing. First, broadcasters, fucking show the interval, man.
Interval. But this race, it's actually better than the
Yeah,
other
this
two
race
races
it
this
was
year.
better. Yeah, this
It
race
was
it was.
better.
I understand until the DRS is not activated that you show the gap to the leader, but once the DRS is activated, just show the fucking interval. Is what I'm going to say. I don't think it's ever going to change in any race because fucking idiots. And the second thing that I want to say is safety car in the lap. The message that comes, shouldn't it be safety car in in this lap? Like, because I always get confused when I initially started watching Formula One. I was like, safety car in this lap. I'm like, yeah, I see it that safety car is in the lap. Why are they showing it on the TV? And then I would see,
Okay.
I would see on the time tower that they have on the left of the screen the safety car ending. I'm like, oh, that's what they mean. And I just think that somebody needs to correct that grammar. Okay, predictions, because I have to edit this and it is already a big task. So predictions, let's go. Kramer predicted Max, Charles, and Ocon. Nothing happened. Fastest lap to Max did not happen. Zoe above Bottas did not happen. Stroll no Q3. This was like this was such a cop out by Kramer. I'm very disappointed. So one
Easiest
point
one.
there. Yeah. One McLaren below P10. Fuck you, Kramer. Anyways. So Shaguni predicted Charles, Sainz, Max. So Charles did get first position. So 2 points there. Fastest lap to Max. That did not happen. Charles got the fastest lap. So no points there. Both McLaren points. Very good. I appreciate that prediction. No DNFs and Bottas out of points. Both of these things did not happen. Honey Badger predicted Max, Charles, and Sainz. I'm so sad for you, bro. You said
So
fastest lap to Charles. That did happen. One Williams DNF. I can't believe Latifi disappointed you in this way. Both Alpine in points. Alonso. Ah, so sad. And you said K-Mac top 8, which also did not happen.
didn't happen. Yeah.
I predicted Charles, Sainz, Max. So I get 2 for Charles. I said fastest lap to Charles, which did happen. Then I said Hamilton beats Russell, did not happen. Sainz on pole, nope. And Danny Rick beats Norris. That also did
Nope.
not happen. So I get 3. Me and Shaguni, we both get 3. Honey Badger, you get 1. And Kramer also gets 1. So um, I guess good. Okay. So that was our Australian GP race review. Very happy that we are back in Australia. I hope they make more changes to make overtaking easier on this track. But thank you everybody for joining, and listeners, thank you so much for listening. If you like the episode, please share with your friends. Leave a rating, subscribe to our podcast. If you want us to cover something in the episode, or if you have any feedback for us, or if you want to be a part of the podcast, write to us at overthecurvepodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach out to us on our Instagram at overthecurvepodcast, or reach out to us on Twitter at the rate overthecurvepod. Until next episode, bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.